You're watching The Fourth Estate on NTV. My name is Alan Kasuja, and Sisi Kagawa, the Executive Director of, who funds you, by the way, of the Anti-Corruption Coalition?
No, I have quite a number of donors.
Who funds your budgets?
No, there's Danida, there's CARE, there's Partnership for Transparency.
So you need to make them happy?
No, we don't have to make them happy. I mean, at the end of the day, we are supposed to do what we are supposed to do. Because we come up with our own strategies, and they're supposed to go by what we're telling them.
You come with clean hands?
We do, yes, we do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
don't they have supplementary budgets?
No, we do not have supplementary budgets.
You travel business class?
No, where would you even get that money?
Don't you drive four-wheel drive?
No, we don't.
Actually, as a matter of fact, there's a civil society organization that I'll not name that's based in Kamosha, and they came to a place that I work, and they showed up in a four-wheel drive car.
All of them.
That's
maybe
that's my point.
Yes,
Ugandan culture.
So the Ugandan culture infiltrates you anti-corruption.
Honestly, NGOs are more lavish. Get a CEO job of an NGO, you're in heaven.
How much do you earn?
No, I mean, Alan, we already discussed that outside. But it's off air. But
you refuse to tell us off air.
Okay, well, I will towards the end of the show. Right, but you see, Frank, it isn't true that everyone, you get a job and, CEO job and you're in heaven. No, it isn't true.
But you know at NGOs, your budgets are not rigorously scrutinized.
They are.
You and your donor.
No, they are not. And let me tell you something. Like, I can give an example of the organization that I work for. If anyone wanted to get our audit reports, it is open. If even government wanted to get their own people to come and look at our finances, it is very, very open.
Okay, fair enough. Let's put Sisi under too much pressure. But Betty is the head of the federal movement in Uganda. She wants federal for whatever reason. She's convinced it's what is going to work for Uganda. And then Frank, of course, is a member of parliament, and Angelo Izama is a thinker, a journalist, a scholar, and all these sorts of things. Now, let's just talk about implementation very shortly before I ask Frank about Bushenyi elections. I'll ask you about Bushenyi elections. Angelo, what has been the problem as far as the implementation is concerned? Because Frank talked about effective allocation, which we seem to have achieved. But why can't we do the things we set out to reallocate money to do?
I don't have an answer for this one. You see, the other day I was thinking that the Ugandan government is almost like a Republican administration in the US by default. If you look at the minister's budget, it's limited government, hold your thought, and limited taxation. The truth is, of course, the limited government is because the government is not effective, and most Ugandans get by without it. The size of the government actually is very large, but you can see its ineffectiveness by its inability to reach critical areas. I started by saying this is
especially service delivery in health and all these other sectors.
This is a rich man's budget, but you look at all the major, and the government has made serious attempts to try and improve. They call it transformation in their language. You look at Ntandikwa, Prosperity for All, but all overheads year on year for the last 15 years on health and education. But because of its ineffectiveness, this has been like pouring water down the drain. The one thing that the government had achieved well, I think, is this so-called macroeconomic framework. And that's where they always what?
And that's mostly at a strategic level.
Yes, they retreat. And you look at this current budget, is the same thing. They emphasize macroeconomic fundamentals, long-term spending on roads, on electricity, but they allow the other cavillo to go on.
Why has your government failed to implement the things that we set out? We discussed very well, you even give them money effectively, but the implementation is zero. Ministry of Health still buys four-wheel drive cars, and there's still no ambulances in...
Grapple tractors. Every car is several tractors.
Grappling with challenges in every system is not failing. Point number one is giving us credit, or giving the government credit, for that sound macroeconomic management. That is the core. If you have a messed up economy, by both physical and monetary interventions,
but if you excel there, but the tactics are not working well, then there's a problem.
Day by day, we improve the service delivery. The other day, the biggest criticism we were facing from our opponents and contenders was the lack of medicines and the system of delivery. Okay? I can assure you, we now have enough drugs. Though NMS is not telling Ugandans about that. But one point I want to concede on. Yes, honestly, yes. There are people who have been made to believe that they are not drugs. They are actually drugs.
Okay.
It's those thieving medical health workers who want the fallacy to remain, but they are actually medicines. But one point I must concede on is an ineffective public service administration.
Because the president himself admitted
on a huge wage bill, of 1.8 trillion, and he correctly told you if it was at least 1 trillion, you have 0.8 of a trillion being deployed to more roads, more roads. So what should that call for, therefore? Let's call for, before we even have a salary review commission as the minister announced, I think to me, let's have...
He took that from my manifesto.
That's okay. That's why NRM is all inclusive. That's why NRM is all inclusive.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is such a politician.
Okay. So, one point, yes.
Yeah, we need to come to
I think we need to carry out a public service reform or review. Is the structure we have the right one we have? Do we still need parish chiefs that consume 30 billion every year in wages, every month in wages? Do we need this? You know, I think we need to review the entire civil service and then make sure it is the right one we need.
But why are we failing with the implementation?
Politics.
Yes, a lot of politics, and also a lot of bureaucracy. For instance, you finish the budget by June, and then I don't know when money is released. And then if you're going to have to buy stuff, then there's the long procurement process, which is necessary, I suppose, but long. And then, of course, once you have the procurement process, then the time that the things come in, and then by the time they're arriving or inspected, then it's another budget year gone, and you are already into another budget. I think we need the problem with the budget, it is not a result-oriented budget.
Are we more concerned on procedures than results? I don't know. This someone has postulated as advanced.
Alan, I just wanted to come in briefly relating to implementation. I want to look at health and education. When it comes to implementation, what are the funds that are allocated to monitoring and supervision? Because if you look at the,
that's workshop talk.
No, it isn't workshop talk. The reason why I'm telling you this, I have moved up country.
You're bringing your biases.
No, I know, yes. But you see, Alan, the thing that you have to realize is one, I've moved to various schools, up country, I've moved to various health centers. Now, when Frank says that medicine is being given, I went to a certain health center in the north. They actually close at midday. And guess what? If the drugs are there, then a person comes and the people are not able to get services.
So you're talking about performance systems management and all those
exactly,
performance management
as
systems.
well as monitoring, because if you do not monitor, if you do not supervise, some of these things will not be implemented. Because you're talking of having a quality education, which means that the teachers have to be there. But if you look at the...
Someone argues, Sisi, that maybe government needs to stop providing health and providing education and start sort of leave that to private hands.
I think that in education,
it can be it should be improved.
The Christian school should be returned to the church.
To the churches.
But they were run much better.
But they own them.
This business of socializing everything is problematic. This budget actually is... There are major problems with it because you see a dearth of ideas. Because the government is large and focuses on long-term macroeconomic issues. In the short term, we're in an economic squeeze. You'd have expected them to get, down and dirty and say which sectors immediately can make us what? Money. Like her field of tourism. Look at how underinvested that area is in. The real support for tourism, even in non-monetary terms, is not guaranteed. Yet you can pretty much say that in the next couple of years, if you did certain things right, you would get money coming in from tourism, from agribusiness, from opening up the mining sector, which is also another underinvested area. There are places where the government could intervene.
Is it blind to these things? Is government blind to them?
It's business as usual because it can't.
Is it because the government has been around for 25 years?
That cannot take risks. It plays safe, and this is a safe budget.
Okay,
and it hurts the poor.
You see, Angelo more or less gets the point, but misses it. You see, when you concentrate on that macroeconomic stabilization, it is not bad per se, because that's the future, that is the buffer you're creating for the country. But maybe when you are not yet able to fully finance your budget 100%, okay, you still have to accept the different conflicting ideologies of different players.
Fair enough.
Let me give you a simple example. Honorable Suruma, when he was Minister of Finance, he had a very strong theory of the World Bank and IMF. To them, agriculture should not get any money. It is a private sector-led activity. Government should only concentrate on the roads and the rest and the electricity. Now, there are Ugandans like me who feel we need to subsidize the sector perhaps like would want subsidized tourism. So the point I am making, the rest of the world does, including actually compensating farmers when there is a crop failure.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that we may not achieve everything that Angelo would want us to achieve, even in the short or long term, if we're not yet there at financing our budget 100%. And we'll be able to do that.
Implementation of what we will be able. Unfortunately, I'm leaving this discussion without understanding why on earth we still fail at implementation.
We try. We will be able to implement and achieve the results we want if we have our own money.
Okay, did you celebrate?
Okay, I don't agree with Frank.
Yeah.
What I started by saying is that we never go back to see where our mistakes were.
Okay, interesting.
We started with Bonabagagawale, not Bonabagagawale. I think it was in Tandikwa. Nobody knows what happened. It was in Tandikwa. Nobody knows what happened to Tandikwa, who benefited from it. After that, it was Bonabagagawale.
And then NADS.
After that, NADS, then SACCOs. Now it is use. You know, we never go back to say what are we planning to do this year.
But let's thank you, Betty. Let's leave it there and switch to Bushenyi. We have about 3 minutes left. Did you celebrate? Okay, fair enough. Let's let me ask Bushenyi. Why have you guys lost all the by-elections apart from Bukenya?
That we won. So your statement.
Wow.
So when you say all,
but except Bukenyans.
You know,
there's been so many.
There is a famous joke.
It was because of him.
There is a famous joke. There's a famous joke in my language that I have never been beaten by a drunkard unless the other one who beat me in the other market. But when you say we've been losing yet we won that one, first of all, by-elections have not been so many. But of course, in Bushenyi,
why did you lose by-election?
It is true the FDC candidate won. And to me, there are 2 points I pick from Bushenyi. There are 2 points I pick from Bushenyi. It is not that people of Bushenyi had lost their support for NRM and are now in bed with FDC. Absolutely not. It's our internal problems, our internal dynamics that we should learn from. That's a big lesson for my party to take lessons from. That's point number one. Those are internal, because you still have people taking their interests forward because of the fights maybe they had in the other elections, and they continue to revenge on each other.
So
as opposed, yes, that's for sure. Let me make my point.
Yeah.
You know,
but another important point, you can add on. But another important point, which the victory, the FDC victory in Bushenyi brings out, it exposes the hypocrisy of the Ugandan opposition. Okay, the Electoral Commission is partisan. It cannot deliver free and fair election. Already we knew in Bushenyi NRM is popular. If there was going to be rigging and NASA wins, perhaps nobody would have been suspicious.
Right.
So when the Electoral Commission really delivers a vote, whether it is in your favor or against your favor, credit it. So for us as NRM, much as
why did NRM lose in
much as we lost,
your constituency?
We are happy that we have an Electoral Commission that can
Let's
even work against our
too much time. Betty, what do you think happened?
Really, to be honest, it's not just in Bushenyi. It's the mood in the country. It's the mood. The NRM is losing ground drastically. And Frank, if you don't face that,
that's what they said before the last election, and then the president whipped.
No, it is true. I know that.
You want to tell you
Bushenyi.
That's lost in Bushenyi because people no longer want NRM.
NRM has lost ground because NASA, first of all, has got that name of Basajja.
That's a heavy name.
And the politics that goes with the current politics that has gone with the
brand.
With the Basajja the brand itself.
It will reemerge. It will reemerge.
But what were you thinking? Did you ever think about the consequences of failing someone whose brother is taking so much stick for all sorts of things?
But you ask me one mistake. One mistake, for example, the NRM made.
Was fielding NASA.
No. One mistake we make as the party, I was avoiding discussing some of these details, is failure to repeat our primary elections in a by-election. We carry on the old flag bearer. So that's one of the things.
Going to court
but that's what you're saying. Anyway, it was wrong.
To me.
So you're basically saying it was wrong to go with Basajja Baraba.
No. If Basajja Baraba, first of all, for example, had emerged again in our own internal primary election, 1, you test yourself. 2, you know the mood of the election. You are more or less having you are in a semi-qualifier kind of competition. So I think these are issues we need to discuss.
No, but I think it is the same Odo Tayebwa, and I mean the opposition did not go back. I mean, they left the ground as it was.
But people who
so you've lost
are
ground
not FDC.
because
So maybe you guys do not have
that's what I'm saying. The ground is
Yes.
shifting
Yeah,
because the
you
opposition.
don't have enough money to buy votes.
We never buy.
It's a-
We never buy.
No, they were paying even for
We never buy.
Fair enough. Let's
Oh
end this on a lighter
goodness.
note, though. I hope all of you celebrated the Cranes winning 4-0. Or is it breaking news to some of you?
It was fantastic.
Oh, okay.
I was in the salon working on my beards, and I was
Grooming
hearing
yourself.
Yes, I was hearing goal, Congo 0. And they were
Did you
complaining.
know what they were playing about?
I knew, of course. If you ask
What
me,
are they playing for?
something to qualify for the World Bank. World Bank.
This is the Fourth Estate. My name is Alan Kasuji. I'm going to say thank you very much to Sisi Kagaba, who is the Executive Director of the Anti-Corruption Coalition. They make noise about corruption and things like that. And then, of course, Betty Kamia. Betty is the President of the Federal Alliance. She's a former Member of Parliament, and she says she is the Shadow President of Uganda. The Honorable Frank Tumwebaze is a Member of Parliament for Chibale County.
And he's 2 phones.
He's a 2-phone millionaire. And, of course, Angelo Izama, who is a thinker and many things, many other things. It's been great. Let's do this again next Sunday. Stay well and have a good night.